Hey guys, Ryfix here, and today I'm going to show you how to take a headliner out of a car quickly and easily. What's going on, guys? Hope you enjoyed that fun little intro. Like to occasionally poke fun at some of the other automotive YouTube guys. Obviously, Chris Fix is awesome and has a fantastic channel, so check him out if you haven't seen him yet. Not sure how that's possible, but today we're going to take the headliner out of the Xterra. It's a super nice day out. We're taking a break from working on the Titan. The block and the heads are at the machine shop getting work done. So in the meantime, I want to get some stuff done in the Xterra. To be totally honest, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do once I have this out. I have a few ideas, but it's probably in the title. So you guys, for the first time, probably know what I'm doing before I do. But hopefully this is relatively easy. I already looked through the manual. There is, really it's just disconnecting everything along the sides, making sure that the body panels on the A, B, and C, and D pillar in this case, are all at least loosened or fully removed, and then just popping it out. So let's just jump right in. All right, we're gonna start up front. We need to remove the visors. We need to remove the handles up front. There's an assist handle or an oh shit handle for the passenger, and the lights. So let's get that removed. So we'll start with these handles. I just have a small screwdriver and I'm prying away this little decorative plate. There we go, on both sides. Oops, well, broke them off. Cool. They are connected behind the screw. They'll snap, okay, good. They're still snap in, but they're actually connected behind the screw. They're not meant to be pulled out. So, well, we're learning. Look at us. I'm grabbing a little cordless drill, make my life a little bit easier. These are just little Phillips head screws. Awesome. And then it comes right out. Set that aside. And then let's go up here. Same story. This is a Phillips head. There used to be a decorative cover on this one, so there isn't any longer on mine. But unscrew it. Keep these together because the screws are different. So this was like a little bolt down here, and this is an actual screw. Let's be gentle on this one, shall we? Let me see what the deal is before I go yanking on it. Oh, okay, cool. So it has this little hook here, and so you want to pull toward the passenger and then down like that. All right, next up we have this little guy. Let's, oh, cool. I just twisted this. So it looks like it has little wings on it. So you just gotta put it in sideways and twist it to lock it in. So just do the opposite. I just twisted to the left and pulled it out. Very easy. For the assist handles, if you flip them down, there's gonna be little covers. Oop, that I just shot into my face. That have a little hole in them, or a little groove. Get a little screwdriver in there and they pop right off. Look like 10 millimeter, so just gotta pop those off. Excellent. Looks like there's only a spring on one side. I thought it was broken, but it's not. So looks like the one that resists it on this side, so that sort of soft close, and this is the spring on the other. Nice, didn't know that. Another fun thing, when these snap shut, they'll hold the screws for you. So just throw the screws in there, set it aside. So what we just accomplished, you'll want to just do on the other side as well, of course. Just do the visor on the driver's side and the assist handle. But I'm going to show you how to take the light off next. Just this is actually really easy. Just grab a little body panel remover and pry from the front. And the front has the clips. The rear has just a little, little holders that kind of hold it in place. And then just disconnect this using a needle nose pliers. I have some extra wires in here because I wired up my footwell lights using that. So you won't see those in yours, most likely. Looks like it's harder than I thought. Come on, dude, there we go. Perfect. I'm gonna tuck this up actually, because I have these soldered on to the light. So I'm just actually gonna tuck it in there because I don't want to tear that all apart and redo it. So it actually fits up in there quite nicely. And there's a ton of space up there too. Maybe we should do something fun in there. So I accomplished the driver's side visor and handle, and notice I'm not taking the actual trim pieces off yet, and that's because I want this to be held in place longer, right? I don't want it drooping up front while I'm working in the back. They're semi-rigid, right? But you don't want to make bends or creases. If you bend it too much, it'll literally crease it. Not that I should be too worried with how dirty mine is, but regardless, if you want to keep yours intact and keep it nice, you want to keep it held in place until you're ready to start pulling it out. So we're going to grab this light next. And this one, I believe it starts from over here. Oh man, I think there might be a screw in this one. Let's take a look. Let's pop the light off, or the lens that is. Just grab a little screwdriver in the bottom. Yep, there's 2 screws. Glad I didn't pry too hard. There's just one here and one here. You'll see them when you pop it off. Probably use it as a support for the headliner. Makes sense. And just one little simple clip in it. Nothing special here. I'm gonna throw the screw back in the hole, put the lens on, and that way we don't lose track of it. Throw that in there, great. And now I'm gonna I'll probably grab the 2 handles for the passengers in the rear. It's the exact same as the front, so nothing special there. I'll knock those out and then we'll start working on this seat belt here. Onto our little 3rd rear seat belt thing. And I'm not sure, I would imagine this just clips in. Yep, looks like you pull starting from that side, and then, what's the deal over here? Hold on. Excellent, so 3 clips, 1, 2, 3, and then this little guide pin up here that just needs to come off like that. And then again, this is gonna be something that will probably just guide through this hole here. Or you know what, better yet, does this go through? Yeah, it does. All right, you can feed your seatbelt through as well. There you go. And that just comes right off. Easy peasy so far. I imagine that our 3rd light comes off just like the 2nd. Yeah, it is. So 1 screw here, 1 screw here, after popping the lens off. I mean, theoretically, you should be pulling the battery when you do stuff like this, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal, if we're being honest. Since we're here, let me see if I need a much bigger bit for that, but the cargo hooks, there's 4 of them, and they just have a nice exposed screw. It's just a big Phillips head screwdriver, so that'll be pretty easy to remove those as well. Got a much bigger bit. Let's see how it goes. Nice. Pretty hefty little screws in there, but there we go. These should come right out. Yep. And then there's another 2. There's another 2 on the sides there for me. I heard there was someone saying that theirs didn't come with this. I thought that was odd because I don't think mine came with windows. I think those were probably considered an option. All right, now I'm gonna start working on my pillars. There are a couple clips that I'm gonna leave in. Looks like there's 2 in near the center and 2 in the rear. But I'm gonna start pulling off the, the pillar covers. And for these, they should be, again, pretty simple. They should be all clip-in, except for the ones with the seat belts in them, of course. So I'm gonna yank this off and I'll let you know. There you go. Let's see here. All right. Now, what I'm hoping, let me see here. Oops, it sounds like it's breaking stuff. My bad. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna leave it like this. And I'm gonna leave it like this and hope that that's all we need to do to pop this off. So it looks like there's 1 clip here, a little guide pin up here. Actually, that looks like a clip as well, just a different style. So there's 2 clips, and then it just falls away. That's my plan for the rears and for the front. And then the ones with the seat belt, I don't know. Probably the same thing, but we'll find out. See what secrets it's hiding here. Okay, nothing really. For these, I'm gonna just gently pull my weather seal away. And you can do that. I mean, we're gonna have to do that anyways for up front, but I'm gonna pull it away so I can see where the clips are. There's one, looks like there's 1 big clip right up top and 1 around here. And then of course it's gonna be tough because the seatbelt's gonna hold it in place, right? Because there's not much. In fact, there's very little headliner that goes underneath this. So we're just gonna pop it loose. Okay. All right, that's all I'm gonna do. Yeah, that's true. That's pretty much all I'm gonna do. So I have this one loose down here and this one loose. And what I'm hoping is we can kind of like, I don't know, maneuver it in a way to get it out. But there is, I don't know if you can see it. If I pull like that, you might be able to see it. It goes maybe 1/8 of an inch underneath this. So we're just gonna kind of hope for the best. Do the same on the other side back here, and then we'll move further up. Okay, our B pillars here look a little bit different. Looks like there's some sort of screw or bolt in it because there's a little access panel here that if we pop off, yep, we see a little bolt there. It's probably a 10 millimeter. Yep, and be gentle with that because there's a big old hole right there that you can drop it down. Then you have to go digging down there to get it out. So I'm gonna put that in the driver's seat. And now, hey, nice and easy. There's not even a clip up there, so we can just pull it away. That's nice. And then again, I'm gonna just pull my weather stripping away so we don't have to contend with that. Let's grab the A pillars and then the clips and we're ready to rock. Now that these have the handles off of them, they should be as easy as popping off. There you go. All right, and then again with the weather stripping, now they should be real droopy. Yeah, nice. Very cool. Again, repeat on the other side and then we'll go grab the clips. All right, things are looking good at the moment. And I have the clips here, and the clips are looking hella specific, so I would say you probably don't want to go breaking these. But I'm gonna probably break at least one to find out how they work. Yep, just broke it. So, actually, did I break it? Feel it. Oh, I don't think I did. Here's how they look. They got little, I don't know, little fins on the side. It looks like I broke one of the fins off, but not the end of the world. We're gonna yank those off, and there's, again, 4 of them. So pull those off, and then now we should have a real loose, what are we doing? Oh yeah, headliner. There we go. Woohoo! Look at that. Oh, just shot that into the yard. Let's go find it before I lose it. All right, not bad at all. So here's our headliner. Whole thing's way loose. Perfect. There is, oh dear, our rear water hose, or no, what is that, electric? No, that's gotta be water, right? Yeah. Our little water hose is in here. It's stuck to the actual headliner, like they taped it to the headliner. Seems like a really dumb idea. So we're gonna have to feed that through on that side, and then it comes up here. Is there a way to disconnect it up here? Yeah, there is. All right, cool. Let's see how wet we get. Now I'm gonna apologize in advance. This is probably gonna be hard to see. See if I can get a picture for you. There is a little connector here, right there. And that's just gonna be your hose for your rear sprayer, windshield sprayer. So I just grabbed a little cup, and it's really not, I don't anticipate a lot of fluid coming out, but if we just pull this out, oh, none at all. Perfect. So we'll pull it out here, because I'm not about to pull it off as I go, you know, that's crazy town. So there is a little clip that it feeds through that you slide it out. There we go. And now it's with the headliner. Cool. And now I'm gonna go do the same in the rear and pull it through the grommet in the door. And that way it just comes off with the headliner. Actually, that's looking pretty brittle though, compared to the one inside. Let me be gentle. There we go. Pull that out. Perfect. And then just pull it through to the inside. Awesome. All right, so let's see here. Now we got a real nice and loose headliner. It's still sort of being held up with those C pillars, and so I'm not sure, we might have to work around those. You can't really bend it a whole lot without doing damage. We'll kind of play by ear. I'm looking up underneath it, and I mean, there's really not a lot going on up there. My intention is to kind of pivot it to one side like this to get it clear, and then pull it out of the other side. I don't know, but you know what they say, the path to hell is paved with good intentions, so we'll see how that goes. I have some wiring here as well tied up. I'm not sure if it terminates on the other side. I hope that it does. You know, of course, the wiring for all the lights. And so, I don't know, let's just go. Let's just kind of see what happens. Oh, well, instantly creasing it. Cool. What if we try to push it in, like running it, lifting it up and pushing it back in. Ah! There we go. Yee! Look at those, looks like seismic cracks over here. So it might end up being a video on how not to take your headliner out, you know? Okay. So I have it free. I literally just kind of bent it back. And I'm eating like 15-year-old foam. There we go. I just sort of bent it back in front of the two pillars. This one's gonna be a bit of a beast though. And I think we might just have to take out that piece in the very back. This one here. Oh, well, that was easy. So there's a little clip here. Just lift it out. There we go. So now with all of those, with those two free and the fourth one's off, I mean, we have it's really just this one holding it up. So we should be good if we get this out. And since we already did some creasing up here, well, you know what I'm about to do. There we go. Woo! All right. So luckily, it looks like when the pressure comes off, it bounces back, which is really nice. Meaning the crease goes away when the pressure's off of it. And now I can clearly see, which I'll show you a picture, the electrical running all the way up to the rear and probably to the center as well. And I'm not precisely sure how I want to handle this. I'm probably going to go look up front and see if there's like a sub harness deal going on. So, all right, it does look like it is a sub harness. So let me show you here. Hopefully you can see this. If we pop this lower panel off here, there we go. Get that loose. There is that little white connector in there. And if you can't see it, I'll just make sure you see a picture. Let me get my fingers in there. See if I can get it out. Yep, that was easy. So I just yanked it. So now there's 1, 2, 3 clips holding it up. And I bet if I get one of these in here, I can pop them off nice and easily. Come on, dude. Yes, okay. Man, we're really doing it here, aren't we? This one I can get to from the rear. Is it already out? It is, very good. And then the third one is up top. Again, you can easily reach it from the rear. Excellent. So we have that out, and we're just going to very gently, oh, there you go, pull it out. Nice. Woo, there's a lot of tension on that one. Hopefully we didn't do any damage to it. Gee, I'm so glad they use these 12, this connector that has 12 ports in it for these 4 little things. Nice. But hey, we have electrical, we have our water, we're ready to rock. Let's go pull it out. I took out my headrest too, I'm sure you noticed, but I took out the front headrest just to make it easier. Awesome. See how wide it gets. All right. All right, go set that sucker aside. Super cool, check this out. I'm loving it. The headliner's looking pretty great. I'm very happy to say that when we pulled out the headliner, once it got back into shape, those creases that I made went away. So that's the side we pulled off first. And you'll see near the pillars, the creases are gone. So hopefully we can maintain that when we go to reinstall it. So I'm probably gonna do just a little bit of light cleaning on this. We got some really funky spots. They were there when I bought it. So who knows, those are some deep set stains. I'm not sure it'll work out. The back side is gonna have insulation and probably some plastic. I mean, there's like, looks like support pieces maybe. And you can see where I had some water intrusion. Looks like it's on the back door, not surprising. But all in all, it looks fantastic. It looks really, really good. For being like 17 years old now, I'm very pleased with this. I thought it'd be in much worse shape. So good stuff. All right, I'm already really glad that I did this because right away, I have a bunch of wiring ran for all kinds of crap. My subwoofer in the back, my backup camera screen, which is in my rear view mirror, and then also some wiring for my footwell lights. So right away, I'm going to end up running all of those much higher up in the ceiling, if you will, underneath the headliner. So it'll tuck those much further out of the way. Previously, I literally just shoved them into the crease and kind of popped them in. But now that I see all the tracks exposed, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go through, clean up my wiring. In fact, I might actually just run a couple cables from the front underneath the fender here all the way to the back just to have them. Also, since I'm here, I think I'm going to improve the lighting in the cargo area. So I did swap out to LEDs, but it's really like this big, and even with the nice LEDs, it's not very bright in the back. So I think I'm going to take this opportunity to get some like bigger either disc or row LED lights and install them right in the headliner. And also right away, I can show you the Rivnuts. So I know I've had a couple guys ask me about the Rivnuts in the Xterra for the roof rack and how to access them. You can access most of them with the headliner off, but not all of them. So I'll show you that. It should be duplicated on both sides, but we'll cover that and then we'll go put in some lights. Okay, talking Rivnuts. In the rear, there is 2 per side. Let me point them out to you here. There's one here on this side. This is the passenger side. One right in front of your third seat belt. And the problem is in the rear, there's another 2 and they're up in here. So getting to these might be a little bit more difficult if you need to work on them. But I mean, technically, can I even touch them? Hold on. Yeah, I mean, you can technically touch them with the tip of your finger, but that's pretty much it. So it might be a tough job getting them in there. I'll show you a picture. The next setup are very accessible. There's just 3 sitting right here. They go through, of course, the roof panel, and there's 3 on both sides. And lastly, up front, it looks like there's 5. There's 2 right here that are very accessible, the ones in basically the back of the front bracket. Then there's another one, let's take a look. Another one would be right here. Ooh, that's under this bracket here, which, yeah, looks like could be removed. 2 bolts, 2 nuts here. And then you'd still have to work through this support bar. Next one up is accessible. It's right here, it's through another support. So what is that, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the 5th one, is this the front one? Yep. The 5th one here is accessible. It just goes straight through the roof. And it looks like the exact same on the other side. Now I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be touching these. So I did think about making a video on these and dealing with them, but I took my roof rack off one time a couple years ago. I, of course, have a video for that if you want to see it, but everything went fine. There was no issues, and I hear these sort of horror stories about the Rivnut spinning inside the roof, which is super unfortunate. But since mine are okay, I'm not going to touch them. Rivnut kits and installing Rivnuts is really easy. I'm sure you can find countless videos on the web about it. But it does look like you'll have to access it through the roof side because this is the back half of the Rivnut. All right, I'm going to run my cables up front, just kind of clean those up. Probably, again, rerun my subwoofer cables. And then what I'll end up doing is I'll order some lights online, and then I'll get them shipped, and then in a couple days I'll come install them for you, and we'll wrap up the video. All right, guys. I went ahead and bought a couple round LEDs. I went with a 5-inch round LED, and that is 5 inches all the way across the body, not the light itself. The light's like 3 something. And these claim to be for like the outside of a truck on a bumper or something, and I can tell you right away, I would never do that. They're plastic bodied, and you know, they just don't seem like they would be weather resistant, even though they say they are. Doesn't matter. I, of course, put the link in the description down below for the ones that I purchased specifically, but if you want to do something different, of course, you know, go buy something different. Now, I originally thought about replacing my existing lights, which I thought would be really cool because they actually fit in the holes of the existing lights. The problem with that is even though I bought a shallow one, I bought the shallowest one I could find, they claim it's 0.7 inches deep, it would still butt up against the metal support bracket for the rear of the light. So I'm going to put them in addition to the lights. And that gives us the added benefit of slaving it off the light and then allowing us to still use the stock buttons and still have the stock settings. So they'll turn on when the doors open, or you can turn them on manually using the switch. I also decided to put one up over the passenger's, basically over the passenger's head, right? That's about where that would be. and then the other one I'm going to put over the cargo area because it claims to have spot and flood. So one light should give us enough light in the cargo area. So let's go wire this one up and I'll show you how I did it. Now before we wire up the second light, I want to make sure I know how the first light is wired up because I want the second light to act exactly as the first. So if we look at the switch here, we see that we have two wires coming in from the harness, and one line goes up to the left side of the bulb and one goes over here to the right where the switch starts to work. If the switch is in the off position, it connects this wire to nothing, right? Just it's fully disconnected, so there's no completed circuit. When it's in the door position, it connects this line to this line, meaning when both of these have power and it's connected on the other side, this is going to flow through and it's going to have power and turn on the light. Then the third one, the always on, connects this line here from the light bulb right to the ground, so the ground screw. So that means regardless of whether or not this line coming in is switched, the ground line, it's going to get power because the positive's here and then it's using the body to ground. So to me, that means that this line here is negative and this line over here is positive. When I wire up my new light, I'm going to take the positive and I'm going to tap into the line somewhere above the headliner, but off of this line, and then I'm going to tap my negative right here off the body near the light. And that means that whenever this bulb has power, regardless, even if I click in door or on, if this light is lit, my second light will be lit. We're going to accomplish that by grabbing this little guy here. And I'm going to grab, I went and bought actually the super small M3 by 0.5 bolt, and I couldn't find one any shorter, but I was able to get this one here. And I'm going to connect this to this back plate because this entire back plate is the negative side. So I'm grabbing a piece of wire that I'm going to use as a lead. I found one that I just had lying around that was the same gauge as the one that comes off the light. And we're going to strip that out, connect it to this, and then just bolt it onto this plate. All right, that's connected to that, looking good. And I'm going to run it just like this. I'm going to run it like that because I want the wires to come out with the harness underneath the headliner. So I'm going to grab my little bolt, slide it through the other side. So there it is on that side. Throw this on. Throw on a little washer and my nut. And I actually found a locking nut on this side. So you're going to want a locking nut. And then I'm just going to tighten those two down. Mine is a 5.5 millimeter. Throw it on this side. And I'm just going to grab some needle nose pliers to quickly grab it. Make it a little bit easier on me. Awesome. So now we have this screwed into that negative plate. And now we have a lead running off of it. So now we're just going to tap into the positive on the underside of the headliner. So this is ready to go. We're going to bring this over to the headliner, get it sort of half installed, and then get the light wired up. Now before we wire it up, we of course need to mount it, right? And the little kit came with a template, which is pretty nice. And we want to choose a spot where we're not going to have a support bar in the roof, right? Because we want to make sure we don't have any obstruction. We want as much air and movement. And there's not really going to be any movement of air, but as much space behind the light as possible. And right around here is going to be a great spot because it's between supports. And I know that there's space behind it because I can go look at the roof, right? And I also want it to be straight down and kind of right over the cargo area. So I'm thinking right about here is where we want it. And I'm just going to kind of stand back and eyeball it, make sure it's in the center. And then you know, put a little mark in there and cut it out. Just draw a little line around it. Awesome. So now on the underside should be glued. Yep, a little bit of glue. Looks like there's, let me finish that cut here. There we go. Cool. So there's that. And then what I'll probably do is this insulation is hard to cut with a blade. You need to use scissors. So let me see something first. Does my light fit through just fine? Yeah, it's actually kind of snug, but that's a good thing in my opinion, because then the screws basically just hold it in place. Now I'm going to flip it over and drill my holes. Just run your wires through, set your light where you want it, meaning rotationally. I want my screws to line up on the front and the back, and then just pop through a couple holes. I chose a size that's really just a hair smaller than the bolt, so that way I can just shove them through and they hold themselves in place. Great. Now we're going to flip it over, throw the bolts on, wired it up, and we are done. Each one of these screws has a flat washer, a lock washer, and of course a little nut. So just drop your washers on and then finger tighten your nuts. Then I just grabbed the little screwdriver with the right bit for the front. I'm going to throw them on there. There we go. And then just tighten it down. All right, so if we look at our harness and the way that it plugs in like that, we can tell which one is negative. So this side is negative, which is, in this case, the blue one. Blue one is the negative. So this red one here is our positive. That's the one we need to tap into. And then the blue one we're going to leave alone because we already have it connected through the actual light fixture. I bought line taps for this job. And this, again, I'll throw in the description down below a link to these. But these literally you just wrap around your wire, cinch them shut, and then you connect to that power. You don't have to cut them. It's really nice. Perfect. So that's one side's in there. And then I'm going to grab another lead for my positive. And that connects directly into the side of the tap, which is pretty cool. There we go. And then just plug that in. Awesome. So there's our positive line. And we'll run that. Can we run it underneath? It doesn't look like it. Don't really like that, but snip this at the appropriate length. Right around this curve here. There we go. And then I'm going to use a butt connector to connect those, and then I'll tape it off. One side. Excellent. That one's done. And then we're going to grab the light here. There we go. And I'm just going to throw it, actually I'll throw it up top here because we can bring it through afterward. And then run this lead using a butt connector to the negative on the light. I'm going to tape up both these connections, and then we're pretty much ready to go. I'm going to drop this light fixture back through and then push it up and plug it in. So that way it'll kind of be held in place by the stock wiring. There we go. Perfect. And I'll do the same with the center one before we go reinstall, to make things a little bit easier. All wired up, taped up, ready to rock. Let's see how it looks on the other side here. Oh, pretty cool. I like the way that looks. It should be stupid bright. Should be really bright. So we'll get some cargo area action. And I like this, now that I'm thinking about it more, I actually like the way I did this even more. Whatever. But the idea is that, especially when you have your front seats folded down, or your middle seats folded down, you have that light as well for the whole cargo area. So I'm glad that I put this up here. I wasn't even thinking about that, but now that it's like that, it's like, yeah, it makes sense. I know this sounds kind of ridiculous, but I think I decided to not clean it while it's out. It doesn't really, I mean, it makes it slightly easier than working overhead, but it doesn't really matter. I'm kind of over it. So let's get this thing installed. I'm excited to see how it works, and that's it. Let's go. Now, theoretically, or at least I hope, installing this should be easier than pulling it out. Mostly because once we get it into place, if we just push it up and snap it over top of these, it should hold everything in place. And then all we need to do is just reconnect everything. But what I am going to do is get the headliner in place, try to get it held up, and then I'm gonna plug in the harness for all of the lights and make sure that the lights work before I go and reinstall everything and then have to tear it apart if they don't work. So let's go grab it and do it. So let's tilt this up. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Ooh. Okay, something just cracked. The hell was that? I don't know what it was, but not worried about it now. All right. Woo. Okay. All right. Not bad at all. So I'm gonna go plug in that harness, see if they work. There's one. Cool. What's the problem here? Oh. I found out why. Because in the on position, it requires the ground from the screw. So I'm just an idiot. Cool, they're both running. So now, what we need to do is, well, at this point, it's just reversing all the steps. You guys don't need to see all this, but just put everything back on and we're ready to rock. So it's the next day. I wanted to wait until the evening to see how they performed. And so I came back out after dark and I think they performed great. Compared to just the little LEDs in the existing fixtures, you know, there's a sufficient amount of light with just the little LED bulbs, but with those new ones, it really, really brightens everything up. During the day, they look okay. They're kind of giving me a little bit of like RV vibes, if you will, but you know, I think I'll get used to that. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I really appreciate you watching. As always, you know, any comments, questions, or suggestions, put them down in the comments below. Any of the items that I use in the video, I'll put down in the description. And like, subscribe, and if you know, are feeling super thankful, send me a super thanks. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.